Hey there, it's Brittany Winfield here with the Winfield Creative, and I want to thank you so much for tuning into the Marketing Mixtape podcast, now available on your favorite podcast streaming platforms, and you can also watch the video on YouTube. If you are interested in seeing these podcast episodes taped live, make sure you follow the Winfield Creative on Instagram because that's where we do it, baby, in order to bring these episodes to you. But for now, sit back and enjoy the power of the downsell with Amie Louise coaching. Thank you for joining today. It's so good to see you again. And yeah, so let's talk about the power of the downsell. First of all, introduce yourself, give us a little background as to what your specialty is, and then I'll do the same and we can jump into a conversation.
So I'm Amie Louise. I've been an OBM for about 3.5 years now. About 7-ish months ago, I kind of started really thinking about the coaching space when one of my clients said to me, I was like doing basically what I do for CMS in my signature roadmap. I do 4 people, and one of my clients turned around and said to me, he was like, do you coach on this stuff? And it just got me like really thinking, like, actually I'm doing this for people. Like, why am I not supporting other people that don't physically need someone to go do it because they've got a VA or they've got whatever, but they want the strategy behind it. They want that person who knows what they're doing because they've actually been out and done it. So I went and, got the credibility, and then I started supporting people. About 7 months ago. That's a little bit about me. Tell the world a little bit about you.
Yeah, so thank you. My name is Brittany Winfield. I am a USA-based social media mentor. So I help coaches. I love working with women. I love coaching them how to use social media organically in order to attract their ideal client without spending all day on social media. Because we get into this habit of either not knowing what to post. We just kind of like wake up on a random Tuesday and just like go for it. But it's all about the strategy. So I help people in that regard be able to pull people down the sales funnel by using this amazing free platform that we all have at the disposal of our pockets. So
it's when you know how to use social media, it's like you can start a business with like £5 in your pocket, and
you really can.
It's so powerful that you can do that. And sometimes I just think, wow, like, generations back, you couldn't do that. You had to have brick and mortar. You had to have, you had to know suppliers. You had to be doing, everything manually. Whereas now we're
like online printing out flyers and hanging out flyers all around town. No, we're not about that anymore. And talking about the power of social media too, real quick, like that's how we met. Yeah. Like we would have never been even doing this live if it wasn't for that. So I'm a big fan of it, and with the right strategy and consultation, people can run their businesses effectively and reach literally corners of the earth they never thought they could before.
And it's all self-taught in a way. Like there was never a social media handbook.
No.
It was just given to a generation and go do what you need to do with it. So first came the statuses on Facebook and the pictures of you by the beach. Then people started realizing that they could like monetize social media, and it's just changed the world and how people do it. There's people I'm going to Thailand soon, so there's people in Bali, Thailand, living their best lives while also supporting others. So social media all the way.
Yes, absolutely. And so let's talk about downselling, kind of like what that means, I feel like, and then how can what we do play a role into it, because it's not a new thing, but I feel like it's a new upcoming word in our world. So in your experience, kind of what is downselling? What does that mean to you? And then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
Okay, so we have all heard upselling. You start off small, you bring people in and you upsell to them. But the problem with that, and that I've noticed through being an OBM and being a coach, and genuinely speaking to people in the DMs about what their issues are, is you will attract the people, the way that you are creating content and the people that you will be attracting are the people that your price point is at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have a small price point, you're bringing in people who are willing to pay a small price point. And so then when you want to start upselling to them, you know, you get a lot of that price objection. You get a lot of people like, well, actually, no, I'm not really here for that. Like, I'm just here for the 50 pound goodie that I was here for, you know. And they'll sit and, you know, they'll become part of your community, but they might not, you're genuinely not speaking to the empowered client at that point.
Yeah.
Now, what I've learned physically doing it for people in the past, and, you know, sussing people out, researching and seeing the, you know, the wins of both the upsell and the downsell, because upsell does work. Yeah. But the power of the downsell is where you shoot for stars first. Okay. You know that if you are on the online space, you have something to give. So, you know, as an OBM myself, I used to sit there and think, like, you know, when that client said that to me, it just opened up a whole new world to me. And I thought, wow, like, I have the skill set here. And so does everybody else. You know, if you are an OBM and you've been in the space for more than 2 years, then you've got something to give.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I truly believe in cutting out all of the rubbish, all the little £50, you know, bits and bobs, or the £100 mini programs, and shooting for high ticket. And that means finding clarity over who you are, who you want to be, and how you want to position yourself as a high ticket industry leader. Okay, so some OBMs, they do group programs, one-to-one programs for other OBMs. Yeah. They transition into coaching. There's all sorts that, or like VAs, you know, how VAs for beginners, you know, being that guiding, you know,
the role model. Yeah,
guiding for people. So if you put in your time and your energy, instead of putting your time and energy into all these small freebie things, you put your time and your energy into something that is really going to bring value to someone's life, really going to change someone's life through a roadmap, through a group program, however you know that you can change someone's life with the knowledge that you already have.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you start to position yourself as an industry leader. You find clarity over who you are, and you start to believe in yourself a lot more. So you go for this high ticket option. You get so clear on your marketing strategy. You become this, you know, high ticket thing that you've so desired to do for ages, right? And you become known for it. So when people say, oh, I really need this, people are like, oh, I know the exact person, because you're not confusing your audience with loads of different things. No. You have one thing that you become known for. Now, what that does is that brings in higher ticket, empowered people who are ready to take that step.
And ready to pay that price also. And who,
so with no price objections. Yeah, they're ready to pay, or you know, they have that money, but they just need you to show them that you're going to be the one to solve their problems. Yeah. So, you know, after becoming that person, and this takes time, I think everybody watching is going to agree that you can flick through Instagram, flick through TikTok, and it's like how I made £100,000 in 2.5 hours. Right?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so annoying.
It's annoying. It's rubbish, and we need some honesty in this online space.
Yeah.
And completely lost my train of thought now.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah. So like they have the clarity, they're ready to pay that price point, and with your high ticket, you become that person. You embody whatever program that, like, you put together a grand slam offer. So there's a business coach I follow, his name is Alex Hormozy, and he talks about the grand slam offer. So like, you are known for this one thing, it does not confuse your people. And then when it comes to downselling, you could technically like pick apart pieces of that program and then sell it. Like, if people are not ready, if they have an emotional investment, which is a big concept that I talk about in my courses in my core values is your emotional investment, which is a big part of where social media comes into play. That's where you are putting your culture out there, like making sure that people get to know you as a coach, because it's kind of like picking a tattoo artist. Like, you don't want to pay thousands of dollars to a person that like is not going to get you the results, and your personality is not going to mesh, because you're not going to have a trustworthy relationship with that guiding light. You're not going to like be vulnerable with them about really what's going on behind the scenes, which is a whole nother topic in itself. Like talking about like, you know, making 25,000 in 2 months, like that's another piece altogether I could go off on. But you know, you need to be able to trust the person that is giving you that guidance, so that way you take the action, you feel inspired, you feel motivated by this person, you feel supported by this person. And if that emotional investment is made, you can then sell them on, they may not be monetarily ready for that high ticket, like full on program, but you can downsell them with something that you have picked apart from that total program. So like, I'm actually working on a program right now that's going to be like the crux of my business, like the only thing I sell, and then picking apart and actually creating some mini courses. But it's like, if you're selling in the DMs and being like, hey, I heard about this great program that you have, you know, let's talk about how much it costs, all of that stuff. If they are hesitant and it's like, I'm not ready yet, you know, that's okay. Hey, I have this other course that may fit this specific need. Or doing due diligence by the client and being like, hey, I know that my program covers X, Y, and Z, but maybe like by the sounds of it, you don't need Y and Z, you only need X. So how about we start there, and then we can reevaluate bringing you into the high ticket offer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, and it also, for business, it helps you as a person find your place on the platform. Okay. Yeah. If you have too many offers, then you are so here, there, and everywhere that, and your audience is here, there, and everywhere that they know what you're talking about. They don't know whether you're doing a reel for your one-to-one group or your course or your, you know, it is good for you, and it is good for your business if you just drown out the noise, get good at this one specific thing, become known for it, people come onto your profile and they know, they feel the energy, they know that you can help them. And then what it allows you to do is you are still known for that one-to-one, you know, that offering. But later on down the line, you know, if you do want to do a group program, and that is what you desire to do, because quite a lot of the time that is something that you can offer, but your audience are already ready, and you attracting high ticket people. So whether they can't invest right there and then, that they're kind of ready for you, they've been watching, you know, they know who you are, and then you drop a group program that is like, wow, I've got the money for that, you know.
Exactly.
When you're starting from, you're trying to upsell, even though upsell's great in the e-commerce world, you know, in any, you go to Primark and they're literally upselling you like hairbands, you know, as soon as you're like walking to go. I don't truly believe that is 100% the way to do it on the online space, for yourself and for your business. You know, it can be confusing trying to show up on the online space and knowing exactly who you want to be. Drown out the noise. So that is what I truly believe about the power of the downsell. And every client that I've ever implemented it, anyone that I've coached, supported, the first thing that we have to go through is cleaning out the closet, cleaning out their link tree of 10 things that they offer, and going right back to basics. What do you actually want to do, and what do you want to become known for?
And I think this is a great lesson for younger entrepreneurs, younger coaches like myself. I'm only 2 years in business. I'm still pivoting. Like, I don't have all of my ducks in a row, but that's okay. We're figuring it out. But for younger entrepreneurs, like the power of the downsell, like this gives you the ability to tweak and to be flexible and to adapt as the like the world changes, our world, our marketing world changes. It's always changing. There's always new things happening. It allows you to figure out exactly who your ideal client is. You will learn real fast who you do want to work with and who you don't want to work with, which I
Yeah.
feel is more important in the latter. So you really get that clarity as to who your ideal client is. And then you're able to create something that is specifically made for them. And this gives you increased credibility. A lot of the things that I went through when I was just starting the business was like, okay, she's like young, you know, like a lot of that, like, is she ready? And, you know, you're always not going to be 100% ready, but you know, dealing with like the credibility and really establishing credibility with the industry you want to work with, starting to develop those relationships, which takes time to develop those relationships.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, absolutely. And really figuring out what are the needs of your people. When I was first starting the Winfield Creative, I was a full social media manager. I booked up my client list and then I became burnt out real fast because I could only take on 4 to 6 clients depending on their needs. And I was stuck at a computer all day, and like trying to get content was like pulling teeth. So I was like, I don't want to do that. I realized real quick, like, I don't want to do that. I would rather switch to mentoring and be able to coach people on how to be their own social media mentor. Because if I take on 6 people, there's still 6,000 people plus that are left without a social media manager, because there's not a lot of them where I come from, which is great. Low saturation in the market. But it's like now you have all these people that are like SOL, like they're like left to their own regards, and you could be that guiding light for them. But anyway, so being able to like really do focus groups, get feedback, develop something that people are going to be excited for, it fits their needs, you have the ability to really construct something that makes sense for your community and become that leader in that space. And then you can expand it, you know, worldwide, which is great, and make it more passive. But where was I going with this train of thought now? I was like, yeah, being able to, so you can also pre-sell and get more capital because that emotional investment is there. So like, you don't have to live launch anything.
No.
You can start to pre-sell some of these programs. And yeah, like you can always decide to upsell them later. But if people aren't fully ready for that leap, if people aren't fully like, not that they don't trust you 100%, but like maybe they're shopping around, like you never know what they're doing until you ask. But you have that ability to kind of tailor their needs and to start to deepen that relationship, so that way when you do come out with the big program, people are all ready to buy. Like they're ready to put their credit card into the online transaction thing and like sign up for pre-sale, which is more money in your pocket before you even really come up with the logistics of the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, the logistics of the thing, that comes from a lot of the time in the DMs. You know, you program, great, but then people start to ask, oh, but does it have this?
Yeah.
Does it have this? Think, oh, well, it doesn't, but it does now.
That down. Yeah.
So I think this is actually one big mistake that I want to tell people. Like, if you are thinking about going high ticket and you are thinking about selling or anything really, even if you are, you know, even if you're doing the other way and you're doing the upsell, just think about, like, don't get every single thing ready to start selling it and see if people want it. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I first started was I created something and it took me months to create this thing. I don't even do it anymore, but it took me months researching, you know, creating every little thing ready to launch it, and it didn't go very well because no one wanted it. And the thing is with that, I've spent months doing this thing that nobody wanted, and I was young, you know, I was
$0 doing it.
Yeah, and you make $0 doing it, you know, pounds or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, well, yeah, that's the, like, you know, listen to what people want, but also don't feel the need to have every single box ticked before you start selling it.
Yeah.
Because you know the journey that you want to take them on and how it's going to take them. But quite a lot of the time, especially for one-to-one coaching, group programs can be a bit different, you know, courses are a little bit different, they're added to. But especially for like one-to-one coaching, quite a lot of the time people will think, right, I need to have every single duck in order before I can bring on my first coaching client. And you'll find that actually halfway through the one-to-one coaching, maybe like 2 months in, your client starts to get confident. They start to know what they need from you, rather than the other way around. The first 2 months, usually they're looking to you and go, okay, where should I go? What should I be doing? And you go, do this, do this, do this, you know, let's have a look how that's going to work for you, how that's going to feel for you. Yeah. And then two months in, they're usually like, okay, this is actually what I need from you now. So like, because they're kind of like they're ready, and it kind of, you know, changes a little bit. So don't spend all the time feeling like you need everything in order to be able to start, or feel like you need to be bringing in or doing a specific thing before you can get. And one of them is having enough skill set. I shared a reel on my story the other day, and it was like, it said something like, for anyone that wants to hear this, you know, just get up and sell your, I don't really like swearing online, but you know, just get up and go and sell it. Go and do it. If you're in the online space for 2+ years, got something to give. So, you know, figure it out, find someone that is going to help you do that, get positioned. Kind of went off on a bit of a tangent then, but I just love this topic. I love it so much.
And like, here's 2 points to that is oh gosh, now I'm going to lose my tangent. But like, if you create something without beta testing it, without selling it first, you're not creating a program for your people. No. You're creating a program for you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you need to have that unbiased, like, the people that are actually experiencing the problem, or else you will never be the guide that they need. And by asking people and by selling this course and them asking clarity questions, just like you said, you can take notes as to what it may be missing. You can also offer add-ons. So if like a few people are like, oh, like, you know, I specifically have questions about caption writing and like search engine optimization. Great. If I didn't put that in the program or it's not in the curriculum, I can maybe then create like a side piece that then is an upsell or an add-on to this downsell program, or, you know, downsell them on just the package itself that may be addressing this smaller problem that they have, this niche problem. So yeah, really asking for clarity, because you don't want to develop a program that's just for you.
No.
Like, people aren't going to receive that well. And oftentimes when you do that, you like
make no money.
Like, even recording it, like, you have this kind of like ego trip with it. So like, it comes off like, I'm like this, I'm better. Like, you should listen to me, because no, you don't want to do that. You want to be able to teach the people within the program. And if you don't know their problems, you can't address their specific problems with solutions that are authentic to the problems.
Yeah.
Agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything you've just said there, I'm like, yeah.
It's true. It's just, we need to like step off our pedestals a little bit. That's, you know, I mean, that's what coaching should be about. And like consulting as well. Like, yes, you are an authority figure, but you are truly a problem solver first and foremost. You are a teacher and somebody who can give answers to people, but you can't answer people if you don't know the questions that they have. And I think that is the greatest, like, to anybody listening who's considering going into coaching that's not currently doing coaching, keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also mind, the industry is not saturated. Okay? There is only one of you. There is only one, it's not oversaturated. I mean, there is only one of you. Okay, people come to your page, they come to your program because they love your energy, they love your vibe, they love the credibility that you're giving them, the feeling that you're giving them, showing them that other people are going through your program and it's working. And you know, the results that you're getting for others, there is absolutely no way that you're going to get these results for other people and then you're not going to get them for them.
Yeah.
And that's what that's the kind of difference. You know, I have about 10 coaches that I sit and watch, and you know, some of them, most of them actually do the upsell, which is then I'm kind of like, you know, downsell over here. But I think just understanding like where you are, where you position yourself, the industry for coaching, for social media, for VA, for OBM, it will never be oversaturated. Yeah. There are 50 million, I saw a stat the other day and I did a post on it the other day, there are over 50 million new businesses made every single year.
Wow.
Like,
yeah,
them new businesses need social media, they need VAs, they need OBMs, yeah. They need a coach, they need someone to help them. Yeah. That one person needs actually all four or all five at some in their journey. And you've also got to remember that you don't just have one coach, or you don't just go through one program. Throughout your whole life, I truly believe that you should always have somebody in your back corner kind of rooting for you, whether that is a one-to-one coach, that you're in a group program. You know, I am with a really great coach right now. I've been with a coach previously as well. Next thing I'll probably do is jump into a mastermind. You know, it's always good to keep feeding your brain. So again, it's saturated. It's like, what, why? Like, people will, through their whole business life, will probably have like 10, 15 coaches. And it's important to have different perspective in different area, because you go through one coach, you learn something at that time in your timeline that you need to know, then you have a new idea and you think, oh, actually I want to do a group program. Okay, well, this coach specializes in group programs, I'll go to. You do group programs, maybe you want to start doing high ticket, you know, then you go to a high ticket coach. So because things change, your interests change. So that's also something to bear in mind. Like, the industry is not oversaturated. Like, it's not. One of my favorite vibe that bring people in that want to work with you.
That's very true. And there's 2 points I want to make. So one of my favorite creators ever, her name is Sunny Leonarduzzi. She is like one of the course creator, high ticket, like teaches people how to create a course. I was watching one of her free master classes the other day, and she was saying that the online education business is going to reach into the billions, if it has not. It's like going to even more exponentially explode in the next few years. I think, you know, just our world in general has seen this absolute uptick in online digital marketing and education, and people are tired. Like, people are taking their side hustles right now and turning them into coaching businesses and wanting to teach people how to just do things more in life, whether that be life and business. Like, we see coaches for like how to sew, like just simple stuff.
I
like
once bought a course on how to learn how to do a handstand from some like, if you do a handstand, you can sell something.
Exactly.
It's only like £15, but I ever learned how to handstand. But
oh my
you know, she got £15 off me, and I got, you know, all she was doing was what she was normally doing. She's just recording it, showing us how. Probably took her half an hour, and now that's a recurring thing that she make money off.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's evergreen too. So like, once you have your program, like, it's out there. Like, you could always change it, don't get me wrong, but like, now you have this thing that you can automate it. You can, like, the tools out there, like, you can literally just start selling, have it launch on a certain, like, work on it behind the scenes, engage with people behind the scenes, asking them, hey, thank you so much for pre-registering, you know, for this pre-sale. What do you want to see? I want to make sure that, like, here's a rough curriculum, but again, building out the logistics of it. Like, what questions do you have about a lesson that's titled Captions That Convert, which is just one that I have right now? I'm like, when you hear that title, what do you want to learn? What does that mean? What do you want to learn? What exactly, like, do we do just don't go into the nitty gritty details of search engine optimization because I could go down a whole freaking rabbit hole with that. I'm like, do you want more techie? Do you want not techie? Like, just figuring out where people are at with their client journey.
Yeah.
So important, because that gives you an idea of, are you talking to people who know even what search engine optimization is, or are they in the dark and they don't even understand what SEO stands for and how imperative it is, like why we should invest our time in this. That'll give you a lot of clarity as to what type of program to design and who you're talking to and their skill level. But yeah, like as I was saying, like the online space is booming in the next few years especially, but so it's not oversaturated at all. People are always going to be looking for coaches. There's a reason why they haven't found their person yet, because it might be you. And to keep in mind that when you are talking about, downselling a program and like who to try to sell to, a lot of the times the reason why coaches go into coaching in general is because they had a transformation in their life. They had a pain that is now, they found this thing that helped them, like the ingredients to their success. And then it took them to a different place. So we're going from point A to point B, and then in between a lot of stuff happened. And a lot of times coaches put that into a program. And so a lot of times the people that you should be selling to, whether you're upselling or downselling, is a former self, like a model of your former self. It like, who do you most connect with? Because oftentimes those are the people that are struggling. Like they are the people that do have the problem you once had, and they know people that also have the problems that you once had. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Just keeping that in mind too when you're going to sell, downsell, upsell, like, and a lot of these times these people that are former versions of yourself, they are monetarily at the same point you are at. Like we see this a lot with like health coaches, especially, is like, people don't want to spend thousands of dollars in a health program because they know themselves. Like they know they're not going to like just magically flip the switch and like go to the gym 7 times a day, like, or 7 times a week. 7 times a day is not healthy, but 7 times a week.
No.
But like, if they can start small and be downsold to, maybe just look at the nugget of nutrition first, like just the basics of what that means. And like, just each little thing that they can learn has an overall ripple effect, especially in the health community. So like, instead of selling them a whole program and then it's overwhelming and then like they quit on day 2 after spending thousands of dollars, like how can we start small so that way we keep the motivation of the client throughout the whole program? So yeah.
I think for me, like when I do high ticket sales and when I teach high ticket sales within my CMS program, the idea is that the ideal client usually is themselves. Like that they come to that conclusion. I'll never tell, by the way, your ideal client is yourself. Like I ask very strategic questions to get to the root of who that ideal client is. But when they come from being a social media marketing manager or an OBM or a VA and they desire more, they desire to create something that actually they have their personal brand, they are known for this one thing, they always usually look back and go, actually what I've created here was a pain point that I went with, that I struggled with. And now we're going to turn that into a group program. Like people do like Dubsado. Is it how you say it? Dubsado?
Dubsado. Yep.
And like, they even do training on like Voxer and Slack, and that's like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's because there is space for it. So my point, on high ticket and on the power of the downsell is drown out the noise first. Take away everything, every little thing that you're trying to sell and that you're putting, you're marketing, all these little things. Kind of strip that back, understand who you actually want to be on this online space, how you're going to become a name for yourself on the online space, who your ideal client is, gain that CEO clarity. And then once you've got good at this one high ticket thing that you are helping people with, that you've got credibility with, that people know you for, and you know you've got the platform now to then decide, okay, you know what I actually truly desire to do now is a group program, or is a program, and you know make it evergreen. But what a lot of people do is they do it all at once, and they confuse their audience, they confuse their own marketing, they confuse themselves, they confuse their personal brand. They do not know what they are doing on the online space, and that is actually very normal. If you've got a lot of things going on, it's confusing. Like, what are you meant to be doing? So strip it all back, strip it all back. High ticket first, then down.
High ticket first. Yes, and then down. And talking about just lead generation, because that's kind of my sphere, is the people that are already in your very credible program that you're known for, they are already going to be hot leads for whatever you create next. So
downsell, you know, and or it's like group program, you know, it's a little bit maybe more of like a lesser price point for them. People are going to come jumping, and that is why I teach the downsell and not the upsell. So just repeating on that one, the upsell is where you spend all your time, all your energy on these mini programs where you make, you know, a little bit of money, you launch, you get burnt out, you do so much for this money and this program to support others, but it just completely, like, you know, after the launch you're like, well, that was fun, I made a few sales, but like the amount of time and energy that I put into that probably isn't even worth what you've made. Go high ticket first, put your time and energy into high ticket. It will reward you at the end, because then you can start doing downsells if you desire to do downsells. You can know if you're high ticket offer and you love what you're doing with your high ticket offer, and you've got loads of leads coming through, and that is what I teach in CMS, how to bring in those people, how to have them strategic conversations, and how to make sure that you are having 4 to 5 sales calls a week. The statistics go, you get 4 people on a sales call, 1 of them will convert. You want 4 new people a month, say, that's 12 to 15 people on a sales call. It's easy when you know how, and because you've got that credibility of being known for that high ticket offer, it doesn't take as much time and energy from you than it does to be upselling instead of down.
Yes, I love that. Well, thank you, Amie. I am so glad we were able to hop on this live, share some thoughts about the power of the downsell. To anybody who is listening and watching, please make sure to follow Amie Louise Coaching _ right? There's an underscore afterwards. Amie Louise Coaching _ on Instagram, all the socials. Be sure to follow the Winfield Creative on all the socials as well. And thank you so much for being my first guest on Marketing Mixtape. I'm so excited to be launching this podcast. So yeah, it'll be available on YouTube and all of the streaming platforms where you listen to your favorite podcast in just a few days. Yeah, any final words, Amie, before we hang up?
Just, thanks for having me. Anyone that's been listening, please follow both of us along. Always, like, drop into the DMs, let's have a chat, you know, even if it's just questions. Right now on my stories I have asked me anything about high ticket. Ask me anything about high ticket and I'll get on my stories and I will answer for you. If you have been thinking about high ticket sales, like, you've just got to turn up and sell. That's all you've got to do. You know, you've got a skill set. You have a skill set for social media manager, VA, OBM, whatever you are, you already have a skill set to share. So now is the time to go and support others and make money from it.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much, friend. It was so great talking to you, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their day, and we'll see you on the online space.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Marketing Mixtape podcast, brought to you by the Winfield Creative, now available on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe button, make sure to leave a review, do all the things so we can find listeners and viewers like you. Until next time, hope you have an amazing day.